We're talking tonight about successful sponsoring. And really, this is a topic that we touched on with your leaders at the Great Escape. And you'll hear Megan and Heather and the company talking and focusing about this on this topic probably from now and right on through the future, because getting new consultants successfully started in the business is one of the most fundamental skills that every sponsoring consultant or director needs to have. And what we don't realize frequently is that if we don't do our best to help new people get started, we're not only failing them, but we're failing ourselves. I mean, every person who's sponsored someone and then had that someone not become active, not become a contributing part of the team, not helping that sponsor build her team, everyone has experienced that failure. And frequently that sense of disappointment comes about because as the sponsor, we really didn't set the table correctly. We didn't bring that person on board with the understanding of what it is we wanted them to do, what it is we expected them to do as part of our sales team. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Chris, could you throw the next slide, please? Sponsoring productive salespeople for your team really starts at the very first interview. Now, all of you who have sponsored in the past recognize that people come to us as potential new consultants all kinds of ways. There are those who, when we mention what we do at the show or the party, kind of indicate in their speech or by their body language, or even come right out and ask and say, can you tell me more about what you do? Can you tell me more about the business? That's frequently where they come from. Certainly hosts, particularly hosts who've had just a wildly successful party, are a good source of candidates to become members of our team. We also have what I like to refer to as our sleeve tuggers. That's the lady that you weren't even paying attention to really, other than as a customer. You never expected her to be interested in joining the business. And she's kind of there tugging on your sleeve, trying to get your attention, saying, hey, talk to me. I'm interested in knowing more about what you do. And the reason that starts with the very first interview is successful sponsoring is all about setting expectations. Letting your recruit know from the very first conversation that you're looking for someone who is committed to being a productive, contributing member of your sales team. You're not looking for somebody who really isn't interested in doing the business. You're not looking for somebody who simply wants to buy a bunch of jewelry at wholesale by investing in the kit. You expect your recruits to hold their business launch events within 14 days of joining your team. Now, we know that the kit normally takes 5 to 7 days to get there. That gives them a full week with the materials in their kit and your help to have set their business launch date. Maybe they're hosting it themselves. Maybe they're having a friend, a relative host it for them, but get that date set. And you should be talking about that from the very first conversation. There are two pieces to be joining your team. One is you're willing to fill out the application and purchase your kit. Two is you're willing to set your date for your business launch event. You expect your recruits to contribute to the parties, to the team effort every month. But if we as sponsors don't clearly convey that message, if we are afraid, which is what happens frequently, if we're afraid that we're going to ask too much of our new recruits, we in fact end up asking too little. Understanding what's expected of you as you join any new organization is one of the most important messages we receive as new people. We're looking to our sponsors to tell us what the business is about and what they expect of us. Next slide, Chris. I like to remind all of our sponsoring salespeople that reluctant recruits make great hosts, but reluctant recruits have a very low success rate as team members. When you have to talk somebody into doing something, When you say things like, well, just get your kitten and try it. You try it. When you've got to talk somebody into something, when you really know in their hearts that they're not really that excited about doing it, don't recruit them. If they're reluctant to set their business launch date, they kind of demur. They say, yeah, well, okay, I don't know. I'll have to go home. I'll have to look at my calendar. I've got to talk to my mother. I got to feed the dog, whatever it might be. If they are reluctant to set that launch date as you're talking about filling out the application online, that's a red flag. They don't really want to join the business with you right now. They might be interested in getting a kit. They might be interested in getting a lot of great jewelry at wholesale, but they're not really interested in becoming a contributing member of your team. When that happens, in my experience, and I have been taught by some of the very best in the business, when you see that hesitation, that's the perfect time to pivot and say, you know what, Mary? I sense your hesitation. I sense that you're not really quite ready to commit to doing this business. But you would make a great host. Why don't you host a show for me? It'll give you more time to think about what you want to do with the business or not. You'll have the opportunity to acquire a lot of great jewelry for free as part of our Host Award program. Plus, you'll have the opportunity to buy additional amounts of jewelry at half price and even less. And so, I think you would make a great host. It'll give you a chance to get a feel for the business. That person who is giving you every signal that she does not want to be a dealer or a consultant at that time, very frequently, having disappointed you about really joining as your team member, very frequently will want to give you something in return, and they will agree to host a good show for you. And sometimes after that period, when they've had to think about it, when they've seen that party as a host again, it gets them re-excited and makes them think, and maybe they will in fact be a better recruit. So if they repeatedly assert that they don't know anyone, if they focus on how much jewelry they're going to get at wholesale, you may have a kidnapper on your hand. If they keep asking you for more time to think about it, those are reluctant recruits, and frankly, you are better off asking them to be your host. They will make a better host and contribute more to your business than they will as a reluctant recruit who really buys their kit and doesn't do much. Now, we talked about the different kinds of recruits, those great sleeve tuggers who come up and actually, actually have to almost get your attention to let you know that they're interested in joining the business or at least knowing more about the opportunity. Everybody who's done this for a while has had those. We don't like to admit it. We like to, sort of let all of our friends and colleagues in Takara know that, well, we recruited them. We enthused them about the business. And most of the time that's what happens. But with genuine sleeve tuggers, they're actually coming to us. And those are like gifts from heaven. Folks that have a proven prior party plan or direct sales experience are often excellent recruiting prospects. That woman who may have sold Tupperware years ago, or the Pampered Chef, or Mary Kay, they sort of already understand the business. Frequently, they've seen how easy it is to show and display, the Takara fine jewelry, and how much fun it is compared perhaps to some of the products they've sold in the past. And I'm not saying those products are bad products. That's not true. But in some cases, they take more time and knowledge and effort to properly demonstrate. You put our fine jewelry on a good display cloth, and it speaks to women almost without the salesperson saying a word. And as our consultants become more familiar with our products, they are ever more capable of making suggestions and selecting the right piece of jewelry for the right woman. So people with prior party plan experience or direct sales experience, good source of recruits. Folks who are excited about getting started and have their launch party already planned, gosh, we love them. When you have that recruit who can't wait to fill out the application online, who already has her date set in her mind, she already has her host, or she's going to host it herself, gosh, we love those. And you will find that there's a high correlation between that person who is excited about starting the business, truly excited, not in a phony way, truly excited, and has got that first date down already, and maybe has several things date booked already, those make great recruits. And the folks who express genuine enthusiasm about contributing to your team, boy, as a sponsoring consultant or as a director, that's music to your ears. I like to tell people, I like to ask prospective recruits, how many parties can you contribute to a month? What do you want to do with your business? What is your income goal? How much time can you give to the business? I actually go through a pretty rigorous set of questions that go to what they plan to do, what they think they can do, and how they're going to contribute to the overall team. And I tend to talk a lot about, needing team members, wanting consultants who are going to contribute to the overall productivity of the team. It's okay if they contribute only one party, but I want people who are going to contribute. Your recruits respect that. They respect that. Next slide, Chris. That's an interesting slide. Successful onboarding requires a sponsor to make sure that the new consultant intends to get her business started quickly, understands the benefits and the full potential of achieving and surpassing Fast Start 1. Boy, is that a biggie. That is a biggie. We don't always focus as much as we should on the benefits of Fast Start 1 under the TOCARA program, but I have always found it very, very helpful to have a real and full discussion about the opportunity the new consultant has to not only get her business started successfully, but the fact that she can earn additional jewelry for her samples and displays or for personal use, and that she can recover all of her kit investment with her very first show. It is quite common that the launch party is one of the more successful early parties that a new consultant has. And it makes sense. It's her friends and family and coworkers, usually has a larger attendance. It's attended by people who want her to be successful. So we have the opportunity to use that Fast Start 1 and rewards program to really help a person focus on how they can get off to a good start. And in fact, in the next slide, as you'll see, we've developed a worksheet that can go for this. Chris, do we have that worksheet on the next slide? There it is. What I like to train people is, and I've done this in every company I've ever worked with, if that launch party date is not set, then the application is not complete. And frequently I would coach leaders, don't even let them put the application in. Don't let them go online and put it in an application unless they are willing to commit to their launch party date in writing to you as their sponsor. That gives me the opportunity then to walk them down through this worksheet that the company has developed for you that shows all the benefits that can come from simply holding that first launch party quickly after joining the business and following the host coaching tips and training of their upline sponsor or director. I mean, think about it. This is one of the richer instant reward programs available in all of direct selling. If you follow those 3 steps in the conversation with the recruit as part of her filling out the application, and you help her understand that you as her sponsor expect her to hold her business launch very quickly within 14, 15 days of joining the business. You'll help her host coach. You'll help her through the invitation process. You'll answer questions she may have about the product line. You'll point her to our various training materials. And you'll walk her through this form. You can't help but get someone excited when you show them how they can recover their kit and get almost $2,000 in free jewelry if they hit all the elements of that first Fast Start 1 business launch goal. I mean, think about it. It's an absolutely incredible deal. just for helping someone get successfully started in the business. So onboarding really starts with the sponsor setting the expectations, with adopting the idea that the application form isn't complete if we don't have at least the business launch party date set down in writing and committed to by the new recruit. And the company is considering making a change in our programming so that an application can't even be finished. It won't be accepted if that business launch date is not filled in. That's how serious we are about the importance of this onboarding process and the importance of bringing on people in your team that are going to contribute to not only their own success, but to your success as their sponsor and to the success of their central team that they belong to as a member of that team. It's very disappointing as you're trying to build your organization, as you look down through your activity list and you find out that maybe you recruited 3 people last month, but only 1 has really gotten started. And when you see those kinds of numbers, you have to ask yourself a series of questions, starting with, did I really explain what my expectations were of that new recruit? Should I actually have recruited that person? Or would they have been better as a host? Did they give me signs that they were actually reluctant about joining as a consultant at this time? Did I make sure that they fully understood the benefits of holding that business launch and achieving that one fast start, one goal, and even higher in their first 14, 15 days in business? Did they understand how they could recover the cost of their kit and have the opportunity to earn nearly $2,000 in additional value of jewelry? Those are the questions we have to ask when we look at that report the month after we've recruited someone and seen that they haven't started anything yet. So that's what we wanted to speak to you about this evening. Most often that reluctant recruits make great hosts and poor team members. Do yourself as a recruiter, as a sponsoring consultant, a senior consultant, a prospective director, or at any level of leadership in the business, do yourself a favor and the other productive contributing members of your team a favor. Only recruit those who want to be productive and contribute to the team. That may seem counterproductive. You may have heard somebody tell you somewhere along your direct selling career, if they can fog a mirror, sign an application and get them a kit. But if you look at the numbers, folks, that's not true. Those downlines who follow this kind of program, and we're fortunate in Takar, we have several downlines who do follow almost exactly the steps that I laid out here, who do use a worksheet to work a new recruit through the benefits of her Fast Start 1, see much better results, see much better productivity out of their new recruits more quickly. And that's what everybody wants. That's what a consultant who wants to be a senior consultant is looking for. That's what a senior consultant who wants to be a director is looking for. We want members of our team who are going to help us build a better, stronger company and build better, stronger personal teams. Now that's really the heart of the message we wanted to share with you this evening. Megan, Heather, I'm happy to answer questions. I think, obviously we're running a little long because I was late and I apologize, but I'm more than happy to take a few questions if anybody on the webinar has some. Chris, if you've got the audience muted right now, you might want to unmute everybody.
Hey, Alan, this is Heather.
Yes,
and
Heather.
I just wanted to say that I loved when you brought up the fact that sometimes, especially when we're newer in the industry, that we get scared to ask too much of people. And I have to say that that was a big hesitation of mine back in my early days. All I wanted to do was sign up people, and I just figured, oh, they're signing up, they're going to want to work. And I was very green in that area. It took me quite a while to understand it. And then I finally caught on and realized, gosh, what kind of people do I want to have on my team? Do I want to have just anybody and everybody that signs up, grabs the kit, and then they don't do anything, which was frustrating for me and frustrating, I'm sure, for them, for me probably bothering them when that wasn't their intention. Or did I want people that were going to be contributing and be a part of an organization that was going somewhere? And it took me a while to learn that I needed to be more choosy, but it was more productive in the long run. So I'm really happy that you brought that up, because I wish somebody would have told me that in my early days, and I didn't have that, opportunity to hear that. So thank you for saying that.
Well, thank you, Heather. I think most of the sales leaders, the successful sales leaders in our business, have learned that over time by trial and error. What we're trying to do at Tokara, you and Heather and the sales management team, you and Megan, what we're trying to do is the newest consultants understand the most effective way to recruit people. Not only effective for you as the sponsor, but effective for the consultant that you are going to recruit. If we bring people in with no expectations and they give us nothing, they have met the expectations.
Right.
Somebody, we got some back there. The other thing I would ask each of you to think about is every one of you has had a parent, a family member, a coach, or a teacher who got more out of you than perhaps other family members, coaches did, teachers did. And when you think back on it, those were the people who challenged you to do things, who didn't let you simply sit, who asked you to do more, who set expectations for you. Well, when you're sponsoring someone into the business, you're in that same role. You're a guide, and you really don't do your recruit any valuable service if you fail to guide them. And that means setting expectations and showing them the way to be successful quite quickly. I want to go back and reiterate, Tokara has one of the most generous fast start rewards programs in the industry. A new consultant who holds a launch party that runs about $1,000, and a lot of our launch parties are higher than that, because launch parties tend to be among the highest early parties that a recruit will have in the early going, really has an opportunity not only to put all her kit investment back in her pocket, but to get a whole lot of incredibly beautiful and valuable Tokara fine jewelry to use in their displays, add to their samples, or wear for personal use. I mean, it's an incredibly rewarding program. Any other questions or comments? Heather, Megan, anybody else?
Hi, it's Elaine. I just want to make a comment, an observation.
Sure, Elaine.
Okay, so most of you know that I call every single new consultant as the onboarding welcome. And without a doubt, statistically, I see that those new consultants who have their launch date when I phone them are the ones who are also much more in the loop and aware of every other aspect of the business and the points that I cover on my phone call. So clearly, when they have their launch date, they have taken full ownership of their business, and that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I don't want to keep people if we don't have more questions. I do want to remind you that the worksheet that I showed in the earlier slide is available from Tokara, and I believe it's in a downloadable form, a PDF form, downloadable from the corporate website. Is it not, Heather and Megan?
Absolutely, Alan.
Yes,
Alan.
So,
It's
print out as many as you need. Use it as an actual worksheet. I know that some successful people actually print two, and they work it out, and they set the dates, and they write it on the worksheet. They get their new recruit to sign the worksheet, and then the sponsor keeps a copy, and the recruit has a copy. And it's just another subtle way of getting people to be firm in their commitments. Try it. I think you'll find that it will help. It doesn't mean that we're going to get 100% of the people recruit getting started quickly or getting started effectively, but you will get a much higher percentage of folks, and they will thank you for helping them get off to a good start with a rewarding fast start program. Any closing comments, Megan, Heather, Elaine?
I just want to say I just want to say thank you, Alan, for doing this for us. I think that you've hit on some amazing points that some know of and are using. I think a lot of our leaders are following this plan, and it's just so nice to be able to have their groups hear it from someone else. It's kind of like how sometimes when you hear it from your parents you don't want to listen, and a new voice tells you and backs up what you've been hearing. It just kind of solidifies that this is the right thing to do. So I think that's where you come into play. You're really helping the leaders out there that are doing this plan and telling it to their people to just kind of get it to sink in that this is the best way to go, and it's going to give you the most success, keep you excited, and the people that you bring on are going to be excited, and they're going to want to stick around and be a part of an amazing company and an amazing culture and sisterhood. So we appreciate you taking the time to do this for us.
Not a problem. Happy to do it. This is a program that I know works, and part of our job is to help everyone in the sales force understand the tools that can help them reach the best success. That's what we do. Again, I want to apologize for anybody I held up. Nobody was more frustrated than I was waiting for that accident to clear so that I could get home. So I appreciate very much your patience.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much for taking the time to share this with us. Just dittoing what Heather said, totally appreciate the time that you spent and the sharing of this and reinforcing some of the behaviors that a lot of our leaders and teams are already working with, but also just providing a 1, 2, 3 how-to for new consultants who are just starting with Takara and who maybe haven't sponsored their first recruit yet, or who are just about to, and shy away from doing so or aren't quite sure how to approach the topic. And this is a crystal clear, crisp guideline as to how to approach, who to approach, and how to recruit with success at Takara. So I think that's going to help everybody, our brand new consultants, our existing consultants, and some of our leaders as well. So thank you on my behalf as well. Heather and I are just so excited that you were able to do this with us this evening. So thank you for taking the time, and thank you to everybody else that's on the line that took the time to be with us this evening to share this webinar with Alan Luce. And thank you so much for all the questions and all the amazing comments that have been coming in all along the way. So thank you, everybody, and I wish everybody a wonderful evening.
And I look forward to seeing everybody at the conference.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone.